Hello everybody, welcome to Creative Chess channel. We go on with middle game basics, and today we're going to speak about Blackburn's battering ram. So who was Joseph Blackburn? He was a famous British chess player. Nicknamed the Black Death, he dominated the British scene during their latter part of the 19th century. He learned the game at the relatively late age of 17 or 18, but quickly became a strong player and went on to develop his professional chess career that spanned over 50 years. Uh, so in 1878, he played a game where, for the first time in chess history, battering ram was used as it was played by him. It was logically called after him. Let's have a look at the position. He was playing against Rosenthal in Paris, again 1878. It was white to move here, and white played rook a to c1, a6, and Blackburn played knight to a4. It's quite a positional move. It's obvious that white is going to play on c5 with their knight to attack the pawn. That's why black played b6. And I have already told you several times that if your opponent moves a pawn, it means that there appeared some weak squares, and now you see that the position of black knight became quite shaky, and that's why white decided to play rook c3. So the idea is obvious. They're going to bring the rook into the game to double the rooks and to make more pressure on the only open, half-open file, c file. Black played queen e8. They're protecting the knight with the queen also, and b3. Queen d7, rook goes to c1, and bishop h5. So while bishop h5 was played, black is going to protect the knight with all their pieces, so they're going to bring the bishop back. Yes, they're playing very passively, they're defending, but they hope that they would hold the position, hold the knight, not to lose the c7 pawn. Queen f1. Quite a mysterious move, but soon we will understand why was it played. So rook a7 and a3. So first of all, as we can see, queen on f1 together with the bishop is attacking the pawn on a6. And it was very logical for white just to take the pawn, and it's a very good move to take the pawn. But probably Blackburn didn't want to give any counterplay for black. You see, now they're attacking the bishop, and then probably the knight would jump from b4 to c6 and then to e6. Yes, black is a pawn down, but their position is not that passive like it was before. That's why probably Blackburn decided not to take the pawn, but to go on playing positionally. He played a3, opponent played b8. Now you see the knight can retreat because we can't take the pawn, it is protected. And rook c1 to c2. And out of a sudden it became clear that white wants to bring the queen on c1 square. And then he will have this battering ram, as it was later called, to have 3 pieces here on the same file. It's called Blackburn's battering ram. Let's play it. That is it. And guys, please pay attention. Very important here not to mix the pieces. For example, of course, to have queen here on c3 is bad. Just imagine that queen is here, rook is here, and what? We can't take the pawn if the queen is standing here because it would be taken. Better in such battering rams to have the queen as the last piece, which will tear apart their black position and jump into their camp. So c6, our black is still going to hold the position. Bishop goes to f2, so the idea is to eliminate the defending piece, or just to tie it, to pin it. Bishop f7, knight goes to b2. By the way, it's very nice jump of the knight from a4. It goes to b4 to make even more pressure on c6 pawn. Bishop e2, bishop wants to go to a3 because the knight wants to jump on b4, and in case if black plays c5, maybe we can take the pawn on d5, for example. b4, bishop d7, bishop goes to f3, queen f6, f7, and here we will stop. Why? Because actually here already white's position is winning. White didn't see the move, but I will show you. So winning move here was rook takes to c6, and white was winning. So why is that? Because in this position, if takes the bishop, then everything is simple, and black is losing immediately after rook takes to c6. If the knight takes, just bishop d5, you see it's pinned and black is losing. If to take after rook c6 to take with the knight, it's a bit more complicated, but still white can take the pawn first of all. It's a pin, but in comparison with the previous position, black has the move bishop to e6, and after taking, white takes, and after queen e8 we can make check and then play d5. Computer shows +5 in white's favor, and that is how white could win. Actually, they won this game, but it took them some more moves. So if we return to the position and have a look, so this is the Blackburn battery RAM, which was played in 1878. And of course, as always, there were some games in which other famous players were playing and were using his ideas. Let's have a look at the game. Sorry. It is the game between Alokin and Nimzovich, played in 1930. Alokin was playing white and Nimzovich was playing black, and it was white to move. Alokin, we call it in Russian, maybe Alekhine, it's like English version. So it was white to move, and Alokin played rook f to c1. So he's going to fight for the only open file, and that's why he's going to repeat the ideas of Blackburn and build this famous battery. First he played like that. You see the queen doesn't have, because the queen should stand on c1 as we remember. But this move wasn't very useful, but you see that black doesn't have any counterplay. That's why actually white could walk around and then came to the same Blackburn's positions. So rook goes to c3, then to c1, and out of a sudden you see that Alohin just repeated the ideas of Blackburn. It was in 1930 in San Remo, and you see this battering ram, which is looking fiercely at the black position. So black played here, and bishop a4 is a nice move. We are threatening b5, and after that just to take the rook. What to do for black? Black didn't find anything but just giving a pawn. Okay, white took the pawn, and the king goes just to protect the rook. Okay, so the bishop retreats. Again, we want to play b5 to repeat, to take the rook, but the king protects it. h4, h5, and now it will be very interesting because have a look the position of Zugzwang. So what to move? It's black to move a lot of pieces, but they don't have any piece to move. You see with this h4, king h2, white was just waiting when black runs out of moves. Let's have a look why the Zugzwang where to move. So the knight can't move because we'll take the queen. So this knight can't move because we'll take the knight for free. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 taking pieces and he has 3 protections, that's not enough. So knights can't move, rook can't move, it has the only move on b7, not a smart one. Again, this rook can't move because again we will take. King can't retreat because it's protecting the rook in this b5 is the next move, and they will take the rook if the king goes away. So we see that the same with the queen, and we'll take the rook. And in this position, Nimzovich just resigned because it's a great position of Zugzwang, a lot of pieces and no squares to move. And the last game, guys, I want to show you today is the game between Anatoly Karpov and no, sorry, not Karpov. It's Anderson and Timirbayev. It was played in 1996. Yes, first I wanted to show you a game of Karpov, but then changed my mind because Karpov played nearly the same as Alekhine. But I liked more the position of between Anderson and Timirbayev, played in 1996. Here was white to move. You see white is having a file, but this file is useless because the knight is standing here protecting everything. And white understood this and decided to fight for another file, for c file. Yes, this is more interesting to fight for because here, besides so they have black have here the queen, moreover a weak c pawn. That's why white just played rook to a1. So the rook protects c7. Anyway, we are taking the queen. Queen goes to d6. White is ready to exchange. They want to exchange and then to attack this weak pawn on c7. But black's idea here was to start attack on their white king. That's why they just retreated. Rook c5 and rook goes to g7. It's obvious that black want to push the pawns to attack position of the white king. Rook to c1 more and more starts reminding Blackburn's battering ram. We only need one rook and it will be over. Here for black, so they played queen d6, but the better idea was just to exchange the rook. You see, it can't avoid exchanges, that's why they'll have to exchange, but instead they play queen d6 and rook goes to c2, f5, rook a3. You see, so it's protected, so no problem. And bishop goes to e6 and Blackburn's battering ram is ready. So you see, we are attacking the pawn and black played f4, attacking the knight. Knight goes to f1, knight d5, protecting the pawn, but white can just eliminate the knight and take this pawn. You see this battery is in action, so we are soon will attack the king. So black was trying to make some pressure on the king's side, but you see that it wasn't very successful because white's position is much better, especially this wonderful battering ram is working. So here took the pawn on e5 and oops, sorry, after rook goes to f8, so the pawn is under attack. rook protects, so covers this diagonal. And so when the rook played on f7, white played f3. Computer shows +4 in white's favor, and we trust computer. So white's position is winning, and you see this wonderful battery of Blackburn. Yeah, guys. Yeah, I hope you like the video. I like this battery. Initially, I thought that it was a battery of Alohin, because in Russian chess books it's very often called that, said that Alohin was the first to use this. But no, Blackburn was the first to have this battery RAM in 1898. Okay, guys, I hope you like the videos. Sorry, in 1878 it was, yes. Guys, okay, I hope you like the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube chess channel. See you in my next videos, and bye bye.